What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here, joined by Dilly Vanilli himself, and we are here to do a special Q&A edition of the Bottom Line View. So you guys, it's open to anything. We're here live in a Google Hangout. You can ask us whatever. Get in the live chat. Ask us a question about the NFL, WWE, NHL, NBA, music, movies, personal. Whatever you guys want to ask us, you can ask us in the live chat. We do have some questions that have already been asked of us, so we'll go over those as people are starting to kind of come into the chat, if people are coming into the chat, or maybe they'll be catching it later. So we'll have to just go with the flow because we don't really know who's going to come and go through this live chat. But we're going to be here, and we're going to be discussing some questions and whatever really comes to our mind and just hanging out. Right, Dilly Vanilli?
Yes, sure. I'm expecting some good questions here. We already got a couple. So anybody in the live stream, ask us anything, and let's get started.
All right. So let's start off with some questions that I have here. I don't really remember who they're from, so I'm sorry. But if you remember, well, whose question was yours? What question was yours? Make sure to shout yourself out. But we're going to start off with a question that asks, what's your top 5 favorite TV shows of all time?
That's tough. That's tough. Because I don't watch a lot of TV. Like I like sometimes like just watch like a couple episodes here and there, but I don't really fully watch like a full series of TV. So I don't even know if I'm delegated to answer this question. You got any off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I haven't thought about any of these questions, by the way. So this is just like an initial reaction.
Right. Yeah.
I will probably miss a few that I really like. Obviously, Monday Night Raw.
Okay. Yeah.
Not right now, but obviously. Okay. Second, I right now I'm like in the middle of binging Prison Break. And I think that might be at least in the top 10. It's a very good show. There are a lot of Netflix shows that are very good.
Yep.
I really love That 70s Show. That's probably my favorite comedy of all time. I love Arrow. I love Flash. I love those shows. Of course, some of the shows when I was a kid, which we'll discuss in a different question, but I'll just leave that for the other question. But those are some of them that I really like. Trying to think of other ones. I really liked on Netflix, just going to Netflix, I really liked 13 Reasons Why. I really like Stranger Things. I really like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. I like all those Marvel shows that they have out there. There's a lot of Netflix shows that I like. There was one more that I'm missing that I really liked, but I can't. For some reason, it's not coming to my mind. But yeah, those are some examples of TV shows that I like. Go ahead.
Yeah, Netflix has got a lot of really good shows. Like you said, Stranger Things, 13 Reasons Why. Those are really good. Breaking Bad, really enjoyed that. That's probably up there in the top 5. I've missed the last like 2 seasons of Walking Dead, but from what I got from there, I enjoyed it. Yeah, there's this one. It's like a I like dark comedies. Those are some pretty interesting ones. So like Rick and Morty. That's the shit right now. It's animation, but like that's really good. Along with Netflix, they got BoJack Horseman, which I enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit right there. But yeah, like I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but like if you can capture me with the good TV on, okay, yeah, I think it's interesting. So I watch a lot of sports. Does that count? Does that count as a TV series?
Well, it does count because we're a sports channel. But yeah, like wrestling would count as a TV show, but not like the NBA Finals wouldn't count.
Yeah, I know. Well, technically, you have seasons. They take a break, so it's almost more of a TV show than wrestling. But I know.
Maybe. All right, let's go to the next one. Which is, who is your favorite hockey player of all time? You can answer this if you want or if you don't want to. And also currently, I think a lot of people that watch my NHL videos do know who my favorite player now and of all time is. So Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby. First question, Mario Lemieux is my favorite player of all time. and currently it's Sidney Crosby. Penguins fan, of course. If I had to name my favorite Canucks players, because I am from Vancouver, currently I really don't have any idea. Maybe Bo Horvat, and then of all time it would be Ed Jovanovski. Favorite player of all time, why do I like Mario Lemieux? I've gotten into it a lot, but like I just love the style of play that he played with. He was so skilled, so big, but also could skate really well. I used to play the old video games, and he used to be like one of the best players on there, and he was always – I loved the Penguins, so I used to use Mario Lemieux even when they sucked. And then when Crosby initially got drafted, he was looked at as like the next Gretzky. So I initially just – I actually watched him in the World Juniors where he was amazing in that, so I just kind of fell in love with him too as a player. So those are my favorite players in hockey of all time. Dylan, do you have any answers for that?
The only answer I've got is Mike Modano, because, you know, the Stars classic. I actually met him as a kid about didn't know much about hockey, but I did know about Mike Modano. So I grew up watching old Stars like hockey and kind of the shit like that. If I gotta say currently, again, but I've been kind of catching up with it recently. So of course Crosby's gonna be in there. Not the biggest fan of Ovechkin, but I do like who's the Connor McDavid. So those are a couple of guys I think I like personally, but again, I don't watch that much hockey, so those are the guys I would say.
There's a couple in the live chat right here. We're gonna get to the live chat real quickly. WWE Boys in here, he says, "What's good, my G?" Well, to answer that question, I'll say I'm doing well. Anytime that we can go back and forth with some of the bottom line viewers, that's always a good time. Z Smooth says, "What do you think of Ryan Reeves?" Ryan Reeves just recently got traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins, for anyone that's wondering. Ryan Reeves, I actually think, can offer something to the Penguins. Now, we know that Crosby and Malkin, they get beat up a lot. They don't have any goons. They don't have any like big tough guys on their team that can protect these star players. And for Pittsburgh, and Jim Rutherford, specifically the general manager, he's been watching this team over the course of the last couple of years, and he wants to sustain a long career for his star players, and he wants less chippiness. He wants less dirty play against these players. So by bringing in the guy that is known as the toughest player in the league, Ryan Reeves, that's going to help. Even if he's not going to play on the first line, even if he's on the fourth line, I think it will help the Penguins' identity and also help, you know, with some scraps, with some big hits. And also Ryan Reeves can play hockey. It's not like he's just a goon and can't score and can't, you know, pass the puck. He's actually a decent hockey player. He played 80 games for St. Louis last year, so he's a good player. And I think he'll help out that fourth line and help out the depth of the team and also help Crosby and Malkin get through some of these times. All right. So the next question on here is thoughts on Seth Rollins on 2K18. I'll let you answer the question first, and then I'll answer it second.
You know, it's good for him. I was kind of surprised. I thought maybe they were going to go with Roman Reigns as the cover, because that's been kind of like their guy. But I know Triple H really likes the fact that Seth Rollins is his guy. So I have no complaints about it. At the end of the day, no offense to anybody, but it is just a cover. I think it's nice for him and all, but I have no problem with it. I see no issue.
Okay. For me, I don't mind it. My only thing is, like, we look at the past couple of covers, and it's been like Brock Lesnar, The Rock, John Cena, and then it kind of like drops off to Seth Rollins. I understand they're trying to do this whole new era thing. Then why isn't it Roman Reigns?
I don't know. That's why I thought it would be Roman. But
I would probably have done a Taker one, because Taker is supposedly retired, and maybe I would have also considered Roman Reigns. But Seth Rollins is kind of random. If at any point you should have done Seth Rollins like a year ago or 2 years ago. So it is interesting choice. But I mean, Seth Rollins, he showed up to the live show last night, which I'll be doing a review for. That was pretty cool. He's a guy that deserves it. He works hard. He's a good wrestler. He's not a star or anything. He might not sell the extra video games because he's on the cover, but you know, he's a core piece of the new era, and that's what they're telling us with that. Okay, let's get to the live chat once again for some more questions. Mitch, what kind of music do you listen to? I listen to all type of music. It doesn't really matter. I usually say I listen to good music. That's what I say, Dylan. You know, I'm primarily right now, to be honest with you, I listen to mostly pop more than anything because I feel like the rap music is not as good as it used to be, and I'm just not a fan of a lot of rappers. Like, I'll get an album for a few people that still rap today, and the new rappers like J. Cole, Kendrick, I'll listen to Drake or whatever, and a couple other ones, but I won't like go out of my way to like find the underground rap and listen to it. I like some of the pop artists. I really like, you know, Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown, you know, Drake even when he does. The women, I like Rihanna sometimes, but I listen to that. And then I'll also listen to like rock music, the good stuff that's still out there. Like I'll listen to that. I like a lot of old music. I still like listen to all the mid 2000s stuff, 90s stuff, 80s stuff. Like I just listen to that every day. Like I don't only primarily listen to new music. I also listen to the old music. So I'm kind of all over the place.
Does Timberlake count as an artist? Because he hasn't released anything in 4 years. So I mean, yeah, he counts as like the old stuff, but I know what you mean. For me, I'm more into like the hip hop right now, into that kind of genre. But I'll listen to anything except for 2 different kinds of genres. I will not listen to country.
That's one that I don't really listen to, but I will listen to like a couple songs. But I won't listen to like, I won't turn on the radio and then start listening to country.
Right. Like if somebody plays it and it's like it's an okay song, I'll listen to it in the background. But I'm not gonna actively go, man, where's that Toby Keith album? It's just not gonna happen. I don't know why Toby Keith was the first person.
And you said I'm dating myself with Justin Timberlake.
Bro, he was wrestling in TNA, bro. He was on their first pay-per-view, okay? It works. And then Screamo Rock. I will not listen to that shit. It's terrible. But yeah, I'm like right now I'm into more of the hip hop. I'm trying to listen to some other stuff that's a little bit more low key. I like some of the different artists. Of course, everybody knows my favorite artist is like Drake, Frank Ocean, Chance the Rapper, those kind of guys, J. Cole and Kendrick. So I'll listen to that. I'll listen to the pop. You know, Bruno Mars, really liked his last album, as Mitch did as well. So I enjoy that. But like Mitch said, I like good music.
Shout out Ed Sheeran.
Oh yeah, you're a big Ed Sheeran fan. He's okay. He's not that bad. But you know, I just like to listen to good music. So if anything comes on and it intunes me, I'm gonna be like, all right, I dig it. I'm not gonna like maybe your whole discography, but I'll enjoy it. So yeah, it depends on what kind of mood I am, to be honest with you.
Okay, next one. Who's the top 5 favorite rappers in the game? Asked by Arian. Currently.
Okay. I've answered this to him before, and I know he's gonna go completely different. He'll say, oh man, I'm trying to think of that one guy. You know the one Locksmith. He'll say we'll probably put him on the list. Kendrick's still the best in the game.
It's your opinion. I mean, it's not. There's no definite answer. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna put Drake because he's not a rapper. But Kendrick, J. Cole, Chance. Who else would there be there? I'm trying to think because some of these go into like trap music, and it's not rap to me. Big Sean should get some credit because I think he's been like really improved the last couple of years. Who else would I say is considered in the top 5? Logic, I think is really good.
That's an interesting.
So I would say probably those 5. If there's probably some other people up there that deserve the credit, but those are my 5.
For me, Kendrick, J. Cole. I would say Big Sean is in there, and I would say Drake is still in there. I don't know if you even consider that. I actually like Hobson, but I don't know if I would put him in the top 5 because he's not that known. Logic is good. You said Big Sean. Chance is okay, but really, like, I don't like many rappers. There's like probably like 3 or 4. There's like a handful that I'll actually like go out and download their album.
Yeah. I'm gonna go see Logic next month, so that'll be dope. I forgot Joey Badass. He's pretty good up there too. He's getting up there. So
next question. What's your thoughts on Cody Rhodes as ROH World Champion?
I think it's a huge middle finger to WWE for, you know, like for him being Stardust and then getting cut and for him to win the championship. I think it's good. Like he's obviously talented, so I have no complaints. And considering, no offense to Christopher Daniels, but he was the ROH champion, like not the biggest draw in the world. So to go from him to Cody Rhodes, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think Cody Rhodes is clearly the biggest star in ROH, and it's probably not even that close. He's also probably the most talented wrestler there. I've always loved Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes used to be one of my favorite wrestlers when he came into WWE. So I'm a big fan of that. I also am hoping that they have a Stephen Amell versus Cody Rhodes match. I don't know if you saw the video, Dylan, of Stephen Amell like shouting out Cody Rhodes. He's like, yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of like Cody Rhodes, and he was like talking about, Cody Rhodes is the new world champion of ROH, and I was like, you should have him a match. I think that would be awesome. But Cody Rhodes is, I'm a fan of his. I've always been a fan of his, and I think he's definitely the most talented in ROH, in my opinion.
Yep.
Next, how would you make wrestling cool again amongst the teen audience if you were Vinnie Mac?
Just have good booking, man. Like, I don't want to say go edgy. You know, you don't have to be TV 14, but like, make some storylines that like keep an interest. Because you know how like our generation's like, we're gonna be on our phones for most of the show. We're not gonna pay attention to it. So keep a storyline like intriguing and interesting, and make us want to watch the show. Don't have the same 20-minute promo every single episode of Raw, because we know what's gonna happen. So I just think, you know, making good television and like having interesting storylines all the way down the road would make a show interesting, and it would also obviously give them ratings. So
I just don't know why they got away from what worked. Like, when did they decide, okay, we're just gonna be, we're getting great ratings. We're amongst the highest ratings in TV history. We're beating Monday Night Football, and then we're just gonna do something else.
Because they wanted a challenge. You see, once Nitro went away, it was like, what's next?
How to make wrestling cool again amongst the teen audience? You have to start. Okay, you have to start with characters. You always start with characters, and you have to look at the landscape of what is cool in mainstream media. What is cool in mainstream media? What is cool in other TV shows? And what type of characters are engaging to the teen audience? You need to do your research on that. And then you need to implement storylines. Like Dylan said, it's simple. Wrestling has worked since the beginning of freaking television. So you need to figure out why it's worked. Storylines, characters, believable athletes, guys that can speak well. I was watching, and we might do a review on this, myself and Kev, April the 10th, 2000, Nitro. And every single guy on the show could speak really well. Every single guy looked like a wrestler, and every single guy had a great personality. And that included Russo, and that included Bischoff. So, it's about the talent, but it's also about the stories that you make. And you need to make it kind of the dynamic of the show. You need to change the dynamic of the show. There needs to be a story that flows through the entire show. You need a reason to go to next week, you know? So there's a lot of things wrong that they could fix, but I think it starts with characters and storylines, and also the talent is a big reason. Guys that can talk and guys that look good are important. Okay. Next, I'm all of a sudden I'm getting all these YouTube notifications, and I'm trying to exit all of them. So I'll go to one of these questions, which is, what's your favorite pizza topping? I know that you worked in a pizza place at least once in your life. So what's your favorite pizza topping there, Dilly Vanilli?
Yeah, I worked there for 2 years. By the way,
you have credentials.
Pineapple is not a fucking topping. That's an interesting.
I like ham and pineapple, bro.
That's the only time you can tell me that pineapple can be on pizza, is if it has Canadian bacon, because I can see the sweetness factor. That's just me. But every time I put a pineapple on a pizza, I felt like I was dying inside. the answer to the question for me, I like sausage. I think that's the thing. Put a sausage and onion or a mushroom on there. That's the shit. And then when I worked at a pizza place, you can mix everything up and put, a whole bunch of shit. You're breaking the system basically. So
I don't know if I have a favorite one. Like, it depends on the pizza. The pizza is all about the combination.
Yes.
There's certain combinations that work. Like, you can't just throw all your favorite toppings on one pizza because it's probably not going to work. It depends on the combination. Like, you have to pick a meat, then you have to pick maybe some vegetables that you put on there. Mm-hmm. It has to be a good combination. It just can't be all your favorite.
It depends on where you get it from too. Because like one place I could be like, man, that topping's really good on there, and then the next place is like, nah, it's not as good. So but that would be my answer, sausage.
Okay, what's the next question? What makes a star in wrestling from Arian?
Okay, what makes a star? You have to be, I'd say, pretty good on the mic. Like, you have to be solid on the mic to cut promos. You have to get the crowd over with whatever character you have. You have to have a character, first off. I should point that out. You don't have to be so solid in the ring, but you have to have some kind of presence to where people can get in the story of your match. And finally, you just have to be, like, charismatic. That's the thing a lot of these people lack in today is, like, Sami Zayn. Where's the charisma in Taxi Driver Sami Zayn? There is none to be spoken of. So guys like Roman Reigns, obviously they're in the wrong, format. They're supposed to be heel, but he's face. But you can see the charisma oozing off of him. Like, I'm just going to piss these people off tonight, and I'm going to get booed, and it works. So there's certain guys on there that I'm like, man, the character works for them well. Bray Wyatt's a great example today. But that's what I would say makes a star of those combinations.
I would say Dylan pretty much hit it on the head, but I think it's the first thing is charisma, like personality. I think like charisma is something, but personality. Like, you need to have a personality that people can engage with and people can love. The second thing is you need to be a good speaker and you need to be able to cut promos. That more than anything is more important. And then you need to look like you belong on my television and not like Sami Zayn. And it depends. Like, a look can be different for certain characters. Like, Bray Wyatt sort of fits his character look. The Drifter suits his character look. You don't need to be like, everybody doesn't need to be like Lex Luger. Right. There are certain wrestlers that fit a certain look, and you just need to look like that character. That is important. So those are the big things for me. And then it would be nice if you put on a great match, but that's not crucial for me. Next is, what's your top five favorite albums of all time?
It's like asking me
no freaking idea.
It's like asking me which kid I want to save. I'm gonna say this, and it's my personal opinion.
No, that's fine. It's you won't have ones that I have on mine. I have no really idea what's on mine, actually.
Drake at least has to have one album on the top 5 because he's been so inspirational for me. I would probably put "Take Care" as a top 5 for me.
Bro, let me look.
I have
throw my albums.
I have to go to Apple Music because "To Pimp a Butterfly" I would say is probably on there as well. Again, when it comes to people, and I know people are gonna say, "Where's the '90s albums and all that?" I didn't grow up in the '90s. I listened to the music. But I'm going to probably, like, relate more to music that came out around my time than older music. So,
because you grow up with that and you listen to it currently and you know how people around you react to it.
Right. Frank Ocean's discography, I would say, as a whole, probably with what's the new one? Blonde and Channel Orange. I would combine those because those are great. Who else would be on this list? It's difficult because like we don't see these. I think Mitch saw this question. Well, this actually was in the chat.
No, I saw it for like 2 seconds and then I copied and pasted. Like, I literally took no time to think about it. I'm just looking at my albums right now and I'm like, oh yeah, that may be on there.
It's like, yeah, this album was pretty good. Oh, that one was solid. It's a tough question, but I think a lot of these newer artists that I grew up and listened to the last couple of years would probably have more of an impact than, say, somebody from, the early 90s. I'd say some albums I got on repeat. Khalid's album this year, I would say, is on repeat. I wouldn't say it's my top 5, but man, this is a tough question. You got any others?
Okay, I want to say a rock album that I grew up with, Back in Black by AC/DC.
Ooh, classic.
A very underrated pop album would be Akon's Freedom.
Akon, bro. 2006. That was
any of Eminem's first 3 or 4 albums, I would say, depending on the day or week, would be on my list. Chris Brown's Fame would be on my list.
As long as it's not graffiti, we're good.
Ed Sheeran's X would probably be on somewhere on that list. I'm trying to look. I'm just looking really quickly through like all of my music, which I have way too much music on my phone.
I'll take this one from Arian. I know it's old school, but Illmatic is the greatest.
I like that album, but it's like not my favorite. Like that's different. That's like it's one of the greatest albums, but that's not like my favorite album.
It's one of the greatest It's the greatest rap album of all time, I would say. That's why Nas never came out with anything as good as Illmatic. I would say the next 2 albums, It Was Written still top 20, and the one after that was pretty good, but then after that it was like, where's Nas at today?
All right, yeah, I'm just scrolling through all these.
Yeah, Acid Rap by Chance is something I'm gonna keep for because that was great when it came out. I hate Apple Music's like update. I can't look at my shit. It's terrible. Where is it? I do have a couple of good playlists that I like. Section 80 by Kendrick is an underrated album.
Future Sex Love Sounds by Justin Timberlake. Okay, I'll finish with that.
Hell yeah.
Next, what's Hove's best album? Reasonable Doubt, The Blueprint, or a Black Album?
It's either Reasonable Doubt or the Black Album for me.
I think it's between Blueprint and Black Album, but I would lean towards Black Album.
I'll probably go with Black Album because I enjoyed it. Like, I think it's his best to date, and he's got a new album coming out Friday, which is the dumbest marketing I've ever seen. Like, Tidal and Sprint customers can get the album before anybody else. Like, really? I don't know about
that. What's next? WWE Boy says Logic is one of the best rappers of this generation.
And then some people hated that.
He says Hobson is fucking dope. Mitch hasn't watched Breaking Bad. Actually, I haven't watched Breaking Bad. Every one of my, I'm like on this like thing where everybody has seen it. So like, I'm not going to see it until everybody stops talking about it, which is probably about around now. So I probably should start watching it now.
Ended 4 years ago.
Yeah, but everybody watched it on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. Like everybody started watching it on Netflix.
Solid.
WWE Boy says you're losing my respect really fast. Oh, that's what Chris Crypto said.
Yeah, he's talking about
He says Machine Gun Kelly is pretty good at that. He says 3 strikes are out.
Yeah, that's a strike.
Okay, I actually didn't mind Machine Gun Kelly, and I actually don't mind him. Like I don't hate him, but when he came out to WrestleMania 28 and he started ripping The Rock, I had it with Machine Gun Kelly. I was like, I'm done with you, bro. He like started cheering. He's like, Cena's the ultimate underdog. I still remember that entrance, bro. I'll never get over it.
Oh god, I remember that shit. He's terrible in my opinion.
Chuck Steak says, "Sup, y'all? What's going on, Chuck?" Because that is like one of the, in my opinion, that's like one of my favorite matches. Cena and I know we're going totally off topic. Cena and Rock, because of what was before the match. Because everybody was rather in one camp or the other. Like, everybody in The Rock's camp was like, The Rock, like, I know it's fake, but The Rock needs to win this match. Like, legitimately needs to win this match. And other people are like, Cena's the new, guy, and he needs to win. So Like, that is legitimately one of the best hypes to a match ever.
Because I remember like a bunch of my friends were talking about it. They weren't even wrestling fans, and like, bro, Rock or Cena. I'm like, shit, I don't know. Like,
it's like a big. It's almost like it never happens, right? It's like, it's like if Kobe and Jordan played in the finals, or LeBron and Jordan played in the final. Like, that never happens, you know. And I know that wrestling is fake, but. Still.
Well, and they did such a good build up because it was a full year. Like, we had a whole year to like build this shit up, and then the big match happened. I didn't like the setup though. I didn't like how they ruined the main event just to get to the next one. But other than that, you know, like, it's one of the biggest feats they've done.
Bodo says, "Hey guys." Arian says, "How would you book Roman Reigns' heel turn?"
Just do exactly what you're doing right now, except this time. Actually beat somebody that's a face. Like, I don't know what more he could be possibly doing as a heel. Like, he is a heel in my opinion. I know they're not wanting him to be a heel, but he's going out there and being like, "This is my yard. I retired the Undertaker." Like, I don't know how much more you could possibly book him as a heel at this point. I have no idea how to answer.
I think he should start. I think you would just start by him trolling all the marks.
Yes. That would be cool.
That is the way to do it.
He does it on Twitter quite often.
Literally get him in the ring with a guitar and start singing Margaritaville.
No, because then I'll cheer him. It won't be a heel anymore.
Arian also asks, what's your favorite Attitude Era show?
You know, there wasn't like so you watch a lot more of the Raws. WrestleMania X7, that's a cheap cop-out of an answer.
Is that even the Attitude Era though? Is it?
It's the last show of the Attitude Era.
Okay.
Come on. It's like that's the one.
I think he was referring to like a weekly episode, but I can't even answer that question.
Because it's like
there's too many good shows and there's too many good moments to like really narrow it down to one particular show. Like, I'd have to go through all of my Attitude Era reviews and then rank first to last. And last would still be like an 8 out of 10.
I don't remember there was a bad episode of Attitude Era. Like, honestly, like under a 7 at this point.
Elite says John Jones equals GOAT. Maybe. I hope he kicks the shit out of Cormier. I really want to see that happen.
Oh, you want to see Jones beat up Cormier? You say, I'm the opposite. I want to see Cormier.
Bro, I want to see Jones kick the living fuck out of that dude.
I just wish Jones wouldn't get like suspended so often. That's the problem. But they're both talented.
Jack asks, you think if I made a football team in my city called Donkey D, I would get banned from making it to the little leagues? I think you probably would. Now, if you named it Donkey Kong, I think you would be able to get in. But I don't think if you named it Donkey D, I think you would be banned. That's my opinion, Jack.
I think you would be too.
Sports Factory asks, how old are you? I am 21. Dylan, how old are you, bro?
I will be 18 next month. So,
yeah, I'll be 21 in September. Jared says, hey, guys. What's going on, Jared? Hopefully you're having a good time. Are you still watching wrestling, Jared? I know Jared's the guy that used to Facebook message me and ask me if how wrestling was. Elite says Dylan loves sausage.
I knew that was coming.
That's the way you said it too.
Loves sausage. I knew that was coming.
Aaron says, why do you think WCW failed in beating WWF in the ratings? And afterwards, why do you think it went out of business? I think there was a lot of political bullshit. They gave the wrestlers too much ability to change the creative storylines. And I think with that came they didn't build any new talent. The Attitude Era was all about building a new generation, and WCW never did that. They stuck with the old guys the entire time, and when it was too late, when Russo and Ferrara came in and they tried to push everybody, then they left again. Benoit, Eddie, they all left, and then they still tried to come back, but Ric Flair and guys like Hogan and Bischoff weren't having it. So I think ultimately it was the wrestlers' fault, and it was, what did I say? The wrestlers' fault, too much creative control, and just like inability to give up any sort of your ego to put over other people. I think that was the number one reason.
Yeah. The company lost $65 million in 2000, so that's one reason. Like they did not know financially how to keep money in WCW. Like they were terrible. Yeah, the ego was a big part because like Hogan, Nash, a bunch of those got Flair. They didn't want to give up whatever they had, and they were like, "We have creative control. We get to book the shows, so we're gonna book ourselves as champion." And stupid decision after stupid decision. Like there was like 20 different world title changes in 2000. I'm not joking. So like
that was just trying to boost the ratings up. Because they were already like, when did they start losing the ratings? Like 98?
At the very tail end of 98, they started losing. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really answer the first question, which was why do you think WCW failed in beating WWF in the ratings? I guess that's sort of been answered. But the reason why they lost the ratings is because they continued to do they didn't have any other ideas other than NWO. NWO, and then they had Goldberg, and that was it. And then they couldn't create any new ideas. While WWE, that's all they were doing was new, like fresh, best stuff on TV. The Rock, DX, Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, Kane, Taker, like
bunch of people.
I think it was actually more good of the WWE or WWF than it was bad of the WCW, but still WCW failed to kind of adapt and push forward.
Well, and also like I know you don't watch a lot of TNA, and I don't know if anybody else is, but I watched like Aces and Eights, and this is just a more like common or like current thing because I watched this and I wasn't able to watch NWO at the time, but that thing lasted a year and a half, and it was the longest 18 months of my life. Like watching the same storyline progressively be part of the show over and over and over again. So they just did NWO, and it was like NWO Black and Red, NWO Wolfpack, NWO 2000 with Bret freaking Hart. Like, how many times can we rebrand the NWO to be successful? I hated that shit. So that's what I would say about that.
Chuck Steak says onions. Sports Factory says, who is your favorite hockey player? I answered this question. Sidney Crosby. Bodo said sausage and shrooms.
I like what Bodo's going for. I like it.
Elite says favorite current UFC fighter. Currently,
Connor.
John Jones, if he fights anytime soon. I used to love all the older guys like Chuck Liddell, Tito, Ken Shamrock, and then there's GSP, Rashad Evans, Rampage. That was like the best era of UFC. I still think UFC is good. But there was something about that era with all those ridiculous personalities that is amazing. Like right now, McGregor stands above the rest in terms of personality. But I'm not a huge McGregor fan. But
I'm a huge McGregor.
But I always watch his fights, so that's something to be said about him.
The UFC hasn't been as good since UFC 200 last year. They've been kind of declining lately because they haven't had anything like star-worthy fights, to be honest. There was a lot of intrigue. I would say McGregor's my favorite. A lot of those guys that you mentioned were personally my favorites when I watched back in the day. But also my mom wouldn't allow me to watch UFC pay-per-views, so it was very difficult to watch them. But
bro, you missed out on all these UFC and WWE pay-per-views.
I know, bro. This is a funny story.
Maybe you're the reason for the decline.
I did not watch a single...
Go back in the closet. Stop watching.
I didn't watch a single live WWE pay-per-view till 4 years ago. Like Royal Rumble 2013 was my first show, and because my mom was like, "No, you can't spend $50 a month on pay-per-views." I was like, "Well, split it. I'll split it with my friend." No.
Yeah, I used to like when I was like 10. I used to have like 5 buddies come over with $10, and we used to split the WWE Great American Bash, JBL versus Eddie Guerrero.
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember that. But it's like, yeah, my mom was so against it. She barely liked me watching like the product on Raw, and then once like this thing kind of happened, she's like,
that happened with me, but I was much younger. I was probably like 6 or 7. like around like 2003, 2002, I used to like sneak down. Like I used to watch it before like a show every once in a while when I was really young, but I wouldn't really like comprehend it that well. And then like in 2002, 2003, I remember like sneaking down to my basement and watching it. And then my mom like coming in the room being like, you can't watch that. I'm like, no, I got to watch this Chris Benoit Iron Man match.
It'd be so bad when like I would hear that their pay-per-view was going on Sunday, and I would stay up late to like look at the results on WWE.com. Like that would be my source of figuring out what matches. Like No Way Out 2009, man. Like did Randy Orton, like oh my god, that's all I would know. That's the shit.
I remember like WrestleMania. It might have been 19 because I didn't watch that show live, but I remember like somebody went to it because it was in Seattle. And I was like, did The Rock win? Did The Rock win? Like I remember asking that guy. It's like, yeah, The Rock won. I was like, yeah. Bodo says USC is weak right now. WWE Boy says, even though there is no characterization and charisma throughout the entire roster, who's the best pro wrestler you think WWE has? I've said this many times. I think it's Bray Wyatt.
Overall, I would say it's Bray Wyatt. No question.
Chris Crypto says, Arian, you ever listen to Danny Brown? Do you listen to Danny Brown, Dylan?
No. I'm sorry. He's got.
I actually saw him live, I think, at Squamish Music Fest, and he was like an opener for Eminem, but that's the only time I ever watched him.
His voice is really annoying to me. It's not that he doesn't have lyrical game. It's one of those guys I'm like, I can't listen to you. Your voice is annoying. So
that's what Arian said.
That's good. Let's see here. Looking for some of these questions. But by the way, Arian, I did not say Omatic wasn't amazing. It's a great. I said it's the greatest rap album of all time in this video. I didn't grow up in the streets of New York.
Your favorite should be different from what you consider great.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna put the Beatles album in my top 5 unless that's all I heard when I was like freaking 5 years old. Like my dad would play it. Like my dad would play a lot of this like 80s or 70s music. Like The Police. I remember one Police album he would always play. Or like AC/DC and Tom Petty and all this music.
The only thing that goes in that category that I would still say is that like my favorite is Guns N' Roses. I've been to 2 concerts of Guns N' Roses. Actually went backstage. Like that's the shit. So other than that, I can't put it there. Sorry. I can't put it there.
Chad says, talk about the Penguins getting Reeves, bro. You got to be a little bit excited to finally get a real enforcer. I said it, Chad, man. I said it at the beginning of the video. Actually, was asked me like the 3rd question. I'm really excited to have Reeves. He's the toughest guy in the league. He's going to kick the fuck out of Tom Wilson, and I can't wait to see it. Go back to the beginning of the video to get my in-depth thoughts. Bodo Winter said Judas Priest, Sinner, Metallica Black Album, Meatloaf. That ought to help. Queen, Live Killers. Queen. I love Queen. I was never a huge fan of Metallica or Judas Priest, like because I guess my dad wasn't, so like I never really listened to it. But I like Metallica, like a few of their songs. Obviously, Meatloaf has a couple of songs. The Indifferent Individual. Have you got a favorite WWE storyline?
The Taker Kane shit up to Mania 14 has to be up there because that was awesome.
That was really good. Rock joining the corporation was really good.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That swerve. Taker Austin in 99.
Yeah. Right, I'm telling you, the higher power's the shit. I don't care what anybody says. Such a stupid
power.
Let me think there. So many great, like, I will say it's more of a modern one. The build up to the Taker and Shawn Michaels matches were both great.
Yeah, that's like kind of like a rivalry. I don't know if is it a storyline or a rivalry? Like, what's the difference between a storyline and a rivalry? Because if it was a rivalry, I'd say Rock Austin.
Well, I think it's like, did it lead to like a big like one feud? Like, did it lead to one big match? I don't know. Because I would say Austin Rock's more of a rivalry.
Austin McMahon is great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a great storyline. Obviously, it's the best. We talked about Rock. Well, Rock and Cena, I guess, isn't really a storyline, but we talked about how great the build up was to it. So
yeah, yeah. So those are some of them that I can remember. There's a lot more.
There's a lot.
Orton, Legend Killer.
Oh yeah, there you
go. Okay. Dylan just said Illmatic isn't amazing. I'm done.
Everybody just went back on that one. Looking for a couple in here. This is probably for you. Remember how great Alex Wright. You talking about the WCW wrestler?
What?
Old school.
Remember how great Alex Wright was? No, I don't.
Is he talking about WC? That's what I'm thinking he's talking about. Alex Wright, like a German? I didn't watch that shit. Arian says, who's the most overrated person in wrestling? This could be a wrestler, booker, or commentator. Well, the commentators are mostly shit, except for a couple.
I came to the realization yesterday how fucking terrible Tamina is.
I thought, bro, she's awful. She can't be overrated.
Literally, what does she do that's good? Like, she was at the live show, and I was praying it was Lana, but it was Tamina and Carmella, which I was happy about, versus Becky and Naomi.
Becky, that's the shit. That's one of the most underrated right there.
What did he say? What's the question?
Who is the most overrated person in wrestling? To me, Tamina can't be there because she actually has to be rated. For that
Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't say that because he can be good. It's just he doesn't have anything to give. Anyway.
Like, this is only currently, right?
Yeah, it's currently.
Dean Ambrose.
Dean would probably be on the list.
I do feel Rollins is sort of overrated, but not the most overrated. I think Samoa Joe is overrated, but that's only with a certain fan base.
It's the fans that kind of put it into perspective.
Sami Zayn. If you're talking about marks, Sami Zayn is the most overrated wrestler of all time.
That's what I put on my Twitter. I was like, here's the most overrated in every sport. Boom, boom, boom. WWE with Sami Zayn. So,
yeah. Okay. What else we got here?
Such a stupid question. Thoughts on Viagra on the pole match?
Look, fucking love it. Ratings.
Love Vince Russo. No, it's so stupid.
Ratings, bro. No, but you know what is better than Viagra on a pole? Judy Bagwell is actually hilarious.
Yeah, it was fun.
You have like a middle-aged freaking woman on a pole. I think that's funny. Viagra on a pole, that might be a little too far.
Yeah, there you go. Grab one grown person.
It's still better than what was it? Kendo stick on a pole. It's better than that.
Oh, that was fucking awful. Let's see.
I can't tell if these are questions or not.
I can tell some of them. Hey, Crypto, my birthday's July 27th, so you'll beat me, 18 wise. What do we think about NWA, the boys with attitude? What do we think about them? I mean, they're one of the most influential gang rappers of all time, obviously.
NWA, I love NWA.
Yeah, like the so many great anthems off their album.
Dr. Dre is the best producer.
So good.
Easy. Ice Cube is supremely underrated.
Yeah, he just didn't have he didn't have that great solo album after America KKK's Most Wanted, so I was kind of sad about that. But yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome.
And their movie was awesome too. I would say that, not like Tupac.
Did you watch that? Because I didn't go.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's not good, so I just didn't go to the theaters. I'm just gonna wait till it comes out.
Yeah, probably. We can get to Crypto's questions that we have on the SmackDown review here. I'm gonna pull some of those up.
Elite asks, "Are third cousins fair game?"
What counts as a third cousin? Like, I mean, like I know what the terminology is, but like that's a way far away on the family tree. The answer is no, they're not fair. All right, you want to answer some of these questions here?
Sure. There's so many we have to get to. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is from Crypto. He put this in their SmackDown chat a couple days ago, so we're gonna answer some of these right now.
There's one that I really like.
I know. Actually, let's go into that one first because we've been in this question. If The Rock and Vince Russo were hanging off a cliff and you could only save one, who would it be? Now, this is difficult.
If I could only save one, and this is only if, I'm sorry, Vince, but The Rock was my first hero with Batman and Spider-Man, so I gotta save The Rock.
No offense to Vince too, I probably have to save The Rock. I mean, he's our greatest treasure right now.
He might be the president.
Exactly.
How can you not save The Rock?
And he's also a movie star. I mean, he's doing it all. Vince, great writer, great guy, but I have to put Rock in there. All right, we'll put some of our more serious questions in here. I like
those questions.
Yeah, those are great. That's a great question. How do we know each other?
You can.
I said this.
Go ahead.
Okay, because I said this in like an old video that I did because I had no ideas. The answer to this question is we did like this collab channel. This is how I know Mitch. We did a collab channel before with this one guy, Anthony James TV. If you're even watching, hey. But we did a collab channel. I think it was called, was it The King of Kings? I think that was the one. And we both saw each other's videos, and you emailed me, and you're like, hey, bro, you want to do a collab video together? And I'm like, I'm sure. I've never collabed with anybody. So we did the Christmas Raw episode, 2013.
Fuck, that was so bad.
It doesn't exist anymore. I think either you deleted it or something. I don't know where it is. But it doesn't exist on YouTube anymore. So we went by a couple more months. We didn't do anything. And then you just emailed me again like, hey, you want to do any more videos? The last one was fun. Sure. We kept doing them. Then I came onto this channel. And then we've been to the last two WrestleManias together. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Which answers the second question. What's our favorite shared memory? I would say probably the Manias we've been to.
Yeah, I would say WrestleMania 33 to narrow it down to one.
Yeah, because though 32, I was in my home area, and then you were at a hotel. We were both, So yeah, 33 would probably be the best one. Plus, it was also a far superior WrestleMania than the last one. So
I don't know if we want to answer this question, but WUF asks, have you ever been seen jerking off by someone?
Thanks for the question. This is a Q&A. We did ask for any fair questions. The answer is no. Thank God.
No. No?
No.
It was close, but no. I'll say that. Arian says Stone Cold and Vince McMahon was his favorite. Indifferent Individual says great taste. Mine was probably Austin versus McMahon.
Yep.
Chuck Snake says Alex Wright, the German dancing wrestler.
Yep. That's what I thought. No, I never watched that kind of WCW.
In your opinion, who are some current wrestlers that don't belong on TV? Oh, fuck. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Nia Jax, Dean Ambrose,
Bailey,
Ellsworth, Bailey, Tamina.
Is there any more that deserve to be on that list?
Kevin Owens. Bro, Scott Steiner is the GOAT. I was watching that show. He cut the fucking best promo. He was like, you fat ass. Get your fat ass out the front row. What else?
Right there. Oh my goodness.
Who else? There are other people.
There's certainly other people on this list. I just can't think. Who currently wrestles that's like
some of the cruiserweights for sure.
Just thinking that. I was like the cruiser, some of them.
Fucking what's his name? Rick Swan. That guy.
The guy we met at the gas station.
That nobody knew who he was. That's a classic example right there. Okay.
We didn't know who he was. Well, I didn't at first. I was like, oh shit.
He waved at me and I didn't know who he was until I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, that's Rick Swan.
Well, he just randomly waved at you.
He did. I was like, because I was looking at him and I was like, I don't know who that is, but I do know who that is. Who is that? And then he like waved at me and I was like,
it's Rich fucking Swan.
Oh, that's that freaking cruiserweight guy.
We had to walk like a mile and a half to get to this gas station. I'm not joking. For me to get a phone charger to call an Uber. And there he was, just randomly there. It was one of the weirdest stories we have from that show. How do Cesar and Marky Mark know each other, and how did they meet each other? Meet us.
You can answer that question.
Well, Cesar and Marky Mark, they're like good friends, you know. One day, I was walking down the street and this one guy, you know, he was bugging me. He was like, "Hey, bro, you got any of those wrestling DVDs?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm just walking down the
ton.
Yeah. Well, like I have a ton of them, but he's like, "Bro, I need to watch wrestling. I need to watch my Finn Balor and Kevin Owens." And I was like, I don't care for these guys. But then he started crying. He's like, "I don't have any other friends. I need wrestling buddies." And I was like, you know, this guy. So I was like, you know, I felt bad for him. I'm trying to be nice. So I took him in under my wing. And then he met Marky Mark on one of these videos one day. And he's just like, boom, I got another wrestling buddy. It's crazy.
So Marky Mark came to be because he's my friend's retarded brother. And he's always hanging around my house because he knows I have a YouTube channel. That's how he came to be.
You want to be successful.
Next, WWE Boy says, will you do reviews for other sports like soccer? We've answered this question. We will do reviews of the Euro Cup and the World Cup, but probably never soccer unless we get another person on the channel who exclusively does soccer because we just have too much to cover.
There's so many other things like we're focused on that like putting soccer on there, I don't know. And I would never cover it.
Bodo says it has to be The Rock. Arian said if there was no Vince Russo, there would be no Rock. Interesting take. I do know that Vince Russo was responsible for the idea of Rock saying I'm The Rock, like third person. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure The Rock would have come to be without Vince Russo. He might not be the same amount of success, but that's kind of unknown. I don't really know how to say that.
Yeah. I still think he would be like hugely successful.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What's the most influential wrestling match of all time? It goes from
Hogan Andre.
Has to be. Obviously, there's bigger ones, but like those like have to be like ones that set the bar for what they are. And Hogan Andre just had like a great build, great setup. It's the first like huge main event in WrestleMania history. Like, yeah, it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Even Jim Ross responded to me in a Twitter question saying which match would he have wanted to commentate the most that he didn't. That's the one. So.
Oh, really? That's cool. I didn't know that. Elite said, no, I don't even know what he's talking about. Okay, next, Chris Crypto said, if The Rock and Trump can be consecutive presidents, I'll kill myself. I'd lose faith in all humanity.
Well, what's wrong with The Rock, buddy?
Bodo said, if Tom Brady and Dylan was hanging off a cliff, who would you save, Mitch?
Wow.
That's Dylan, sorry, bro.
You didn't even give it a second thought.
Sorry, bro. I will knock you off the cliff if I have to.
Wow. Okay. I'll find a way to climb back up. I'm just telling you.
Arian says Finn Balor, TJP for sure, but no, Finn Balor is debatable. I would put Finn Balor in the cruiserweight division, and I'd be fine with him being on my TV.
Yeah, the demon character, I'd be all
right. Omar says Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Van Damme.
I wasn't expecting the Van Damme.
I guess I would go with Jackie Chan.
RVD's a solid second, though. Well, Bruce Lee's great, but I mean, he was shit like way before our time.
Jackie Chan's more my generation, so that's why I would go with him. You get me on the channel, I can drop some soccer, says Elite.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah,
that Rich Swan story is hilarious as a different individual. Bodo says, good answer, Mitch. Poor Dylan.
I know. I'm just over here like
Disco Inferno. That guy's great. Chuck State. Aaron says, what's your least favorite years in wrestling? 2017.
I was going to say right now.
2016 and 2015. No. I don't know.
For sure.
2030. No.
1995 is terrible. But also I wasn't alive.
But I wasn't alive for that.
I would say it was just a terrible year. Just like going back and watching it. But if I would say live, 2009 was terrible. 2010 was also pretty trash. 2011 was pretty trash. I didn't start getting back.
Was better than now.
Well, 2011 was good because of The Rock coming back and CM Punk being so great. That's the reason I got back.
I would say like any time The Rock and Punk were there, I would probably put that ahead of now. To be honest with you,
2009 was still awful. I don't care. And Punk was
2009 was bad. I would say 2009 would be in my top 5 because that's the year I stopped watching, and then I came back after that. So,
2002, SmackDown was great. 2002, Raw was awful. 2002, so I'd say that as well.
2002 is better. Come on, bro.
I'm not saying it's in the worst. I'm not saying it's the worst. I got another one here.
Omar says, what?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Your question.
What'd you say?
I was going to put out another question, but you're good.
Oh, okay. Omar says Zidane or Ronaldinho. I would go with Dino for being the better in his prime, but I think Zidane over the course of his career is better. I think Ronaldinho was considered the best player for like a couple of years, I remember in the mid-2000s, but he kind of never really performed in the World Cup stage, which kind of hurts his and that very same year, Zidane freaking headbutted a guy on my Italian team. So I don't have fond memories of either, but I like Ronaldinho more.
All right, I'll get to another
answer that question in a lot of complicated manners. Go ahead there, Dylan.
Most disappointing wrestling angle of all time. Now, I know the answer to this question for me, but I'll let you say yours.
Oh, yeah. The Alliance.
The Invasion. Everything about the Invasion was awful. It could have made so much money.
Other than the match.
The Survivor Series match was great. But it's like they didn't have Hogan. They didn't have Goldberg. They didn't have Sting.
Okay, imagine this match. I know I'm marking out. But Rock, Austin, Triple H,
Taker.
Foley, and Taker. Or if Foley's not there, you could throw in maybe Vince, or you could throw in Angle maybe, okay? Or Kane. Versus Hogan, Sting, Goldberg, Nash, and Razor.
It's like it's such a money match right there. Like that, huge.
Why didn't they just wait?
All they had to do was wait till after WrestleMania 18. They could have waited 1 year to get their shit ready and then be focused. But they had a hot shot it, and Stephanie McMahon was the owner of ECW. Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Shane is great in that match, though.
Yeah, the match was great. We actually, if you want a cheap plug, check out the Survivor Series 2001.
That was so long ago.
It was so long ago. Brandon was on it. Like you know that shit was long. But if anybody remembers Brandon, rest in peace to him. But he's not dead. But yeah, that I would say that was a great match, but it was such a bad storyline. That's the most disappointing angle.
Who is faster, Bure or McDavid? That is tough. I think I would lean towards McDavid because of the evolution. But that would be really interesting. I'd like to see them race. Let's just say that. Bodo says the Penguins three-peat.
He gets three-peats and none of us even have, we have 2 combined championships.
Okay, you need to address this, Dylan. The WWE boy says, I'm just like, why the fuck did Dilly Vanilli send a WrestleMania chair? Dylan, you dipshit.
Why?
Mitch's chair. What the fuck, man? Mitch is my G.
I've answered this question so many times. I hate this question.
You freaking bought a... Okay, this is the story from my perspective. All right? After the show, we get out of this show after this epic Undertaker finish.
Mm-hmm.
We get out of the show, and myself, Brett, and Mike are leaving with Dylan, and we're going through this crowd. I remember the alleyway we go through, and then there's this big fence, and there's a bunch of people around there, and they're selling stuff. They're selling WrestleMania chairs, and there's this big, huge like place where you can get merch, like T-shirts and stuff. And that's where we're standing. And then all we know is that we turn around and we don't see Dylan. We don't see Dylan, so we're panicking. Where did Dylan go? Where did Dylan go? He didn't tell us where he was going to go. So Dylan, out of nowhere, just is on a mission to walk towards some guy with like 4 WrestleMania chairs that he probably stole. He pays him $100 for a freaking chair and then grabs it. And we have to try and find this guy. So it wastes like 20 minutes of our time where we could be trying to get a taxi or an Uber or something.
It's going to take an hour and a half to get an Uber. I would like to point that out.
We are trying to get a taxi or an Uber, and then all we know is that we're like up until 3 a.m. because we had to wait for freaking Dilly Vanilli to get his stupid chair. That's my perspective of the story right there.
You had the first half of that absolutely correct. The second half was no. So I got the chair, and I'm like, we know it's going to take forever to get a taxi. It'll take forever to get a taxi. I get the chair. We go back. The problem was my phone was not charged, and I had to get the taxi. That was the only problem with it. But we did stay up for it. The chair's currently stowed away. I will never show it again. But it is a momentum for me, okay? I wanted to have it so I could remember the trip. That's all I'm going to say. I will never answer this question again. Ever. I will be like, revert back to the Q&A.
How would you book Roman Reigns versus John Cena? I would probably start off by booking it as Roman Reigns being the next guy and having it being generation versus generation. I would also book it like this: Roman Reigns putting Cena down.
Yeah.
I would also book it like Roman Reigns keeps attacking Cena and he's like trying to retire him because he wants to take his place at the top, but Cena will never leave. I would probably book it like that and then kind of just have it like, because Reigns would be the heel and Cena would be the face. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, it's got to be where like Roman takes control and like is the new guy, the guy, you know? So he's taking over Cena, beating the shit out of him.
This is an interesting question, though, Dylan. I didn't want to interrupt you because you could get back to that. But to answer it after what you're just going to say, would you do Cena Reigns this year or Reigns Lesnar this year?
You mean for this next WrestleMania?
Yeah. Because I was talking about that with Brett and Mike.
Well, I mean, what substitute match would you have Lesnar in? Would be my question. Because I think it would. Maybe. I think it's certainly a money match. Like Roman Cena is the match I think we would be waiting for, and I think it would be certainly worth it. But it has to be at Mania. It can't be anywhere else. So yeah, I'd say that'd be good. You just need to have a good substitute for Lesnar in his match. By the way, I got to leave at 4:30, so we got like 15 minutes left on this Q&A.
Okay, I'll speed through. WWE Boy says Messi or Ronaldo. I think Messi will be remembered as the better player, but I feel like Ronaldo gets like slighted for some reason. I think he's one of the best, arguably the best pure scorer in soccer. I mean, the guy is ridiculous. And right now he probably had the better year in soccer. So I would say Ronaldo had the better year this year, but I think Messi is the better all-time player.
To give the best comparison, it's like LeBron and KD. It's like LeBron is number one, and then KD's like, he's so fucking good, but he's just going to be listed as number two. So,
Aaron says, what's your opinion on Bash in the Beach 2000? I think it's one of the greatest shows of all time because we still talk about it today.
It's a terrible show.
It's a great show.
Such a
you have to watch it. You have to watch it.
The only good thing about it is Vince Russo saying, Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch. Like,
I think it's one of the greatest shows. We'll have to review it one day.
We will. No doubt. We the People podcast for that. By the way, if you want to leave any suggestions for We People podcast, I haven't done any since Mania, but I do want to do a couple more. So if you got any suggestions, storylines, that kind of stuff, put it in the chat.
Roberto Duran in his prime or Floyd Mayweather?
Floyd. I don't like Floyd, but Floyd.
Do you guys have any WWE action figures? I used to have so many, but I still have a couple here. They're in the background. You can see. Flair, Shawn, Angle, and there's Triple H up there. I have some still.
I have a couple just because I get these like loot crate shit. So I just got this one in the mail a couple days ago. It's like the Austin. He's holding up like a beer and shit. I like that. Wait, I got two more here. The Rock classic, and then I got one with Cena, but I don't care about it as much as The Rock. So I don't have many, but those are the three I have.
Who do you think is the most underrated and misused wrestler in WWE history? He says his is Scott Hall.
Scott Hall's
I think Scott Hall is great. I don't think he was that misused. Maybe in WWE.
Underrated. I mean, he doesn't get as much credit, I would say. I don't know if Jeff Hardy counts. That's like the first person that popped in my head. Like he's obviously over with the fans, but he only got like that one title reign towards the end and all that.
I think Mick Foley is the most underrated wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
It depends who you talk to, I guess. Most misused?
Misused is hard. It's like I would say Punk to a degree was up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Punk.
Because even though he had the title, it was like Cena was always the main event, and he got pushed to the wayside. That's why he kind of left. I would say Rey Mysterio also.
There were some that come. Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, forgot. Yeah.
There was that group of talent around like 04, 05 that was really misused. Or 06, 07, like Kennedy, MVP, Benjamin, like this whole new flock of talent that came in, Bobby Lashley, that like was just completely
wasted,
botched. You know,
Kennedy had some issues, but still there was a lot of talent there. MVP is no doubt like I'm used to use. But yeah, those are definitely some people.
What else? What's your favorite dog breed?
I'm gonna say Jack Russell Terrier just because I had a dog for 10 years. That was that. But Golden Retriever.
My dog's right here. She's really old. She's gonna be gone soon, but she's a poodle.
Poodle. Not bad. Not bad.
How underrated is the current SmackDown theme? It's okay. I don't love it. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No,
it's a hot dog. Do you think a good wrestling tag team name would be Menace to Society? That sounds like WWE's nicknames for people.
It feels similar. Like I feel like I've heard that before. I don't know.
Bodo says you guys going to review the new Spider-Man movie. Actually, myself and Carolina Calvin are going to be reviewing Spider-Man 1 and 2 with Tobey Maguire in it. So we probably will end up doing a Spider-Man review, at least on his channel. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't a lot of movie things here, so.
Yeah, I wish we could do more movies and stuff. If you guys would like to see us do more movies, let us know. What else? Bobby says, let's go Pens. Bray Wyatt is misused. That's true. That's very true. Bray Wyatt is up there for the most misused as well.
Yep.
What's your top 3 in-shape bodies in WWE history? Me, Goldberg, Lex Luger, and Batista. That's a pretty good list. Scott Steiner is just fucking roided up.
Oh, well, Jesus. This guy is like ripped to the gills. Those are some pretty good
Macho
ones.
Man.
Oh, yeah, the Macho Man.
Oh, Rick Rude.
Yeah, for sure.
Rick Rude.
Not his son, though. Not his son. His son was great, though. Let me pull down here. Crypto says, blitz through my questions. So there's a couple more here from Crypto we can head out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Surprisingly underrated wrestler. A wrestler you would consider a guilty pleasure. So like somebody that isn't exactly like world title, but is certainly like one of your favorites.
Wait, what?
Okay, name a wrestler that's like underrated. That's like a guilty pleasure. You know, like somebody that's not going to be world champion anytime soon, but you find
like right now.
It can be now or at all time. Either or. It's a hard question.
There are so many.
There's a lot. See, I had to find somebody that's like in the mid card a lot of their career. Owen Hart is up there for me. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a guilty pleasure because everybody loves Owen Hart, but he's.
I really liked Shamrock.
Shamrock was great.
I'm thinking Attitude Era right now.
Steve Blackman. I love Steve Blackman. He had no promo skills whatsoever, but the man was so.
Val Venus.
Yeah, Val Venus was great.
That's a guilty pleasure.
Mark Henry, I think
Mark Henry was good.
Who else is like vastly underrated?
MVP.
Oh yeah, MVP.
Female wrestler, says Bodo. Yeah, I can't really think of that. I can't really think of them off the top of my head, to be honest.
Michelle Kennedy. No, it was severely underrated. Hottest diva. Now this is tough. Is it like currently? We have answered this in our WrestleMania Q&A. Shit. I'm a sucker for Becky Lynch. I think she's hot. There's
Lana.
obviously, there's obviously some like really hot women in the company. Lana, Alexa Bliss. There's a lot. It's it's the two I'm not gonna put in there. Obviously, are Charlotte and Bayley. They can just go somewhere else. But a lot of the other talent right now, and Nia Jax
and Tamina, get rid of those.
Yeah, those four. Carmella is really.
I think Naomi is attractive.
Hazard is.
You named all the other ones, I think.
Yeah, those are like the really good ones, and then there's obviously a lot.
What's of all time?
Tori Wilson,
Stacy Keibler,
Sable. Don't beat me up, Brock. Trish,
all of those. All of them.
All of them.
Candice. Yeah, all of them.
Melina. Yeah. Favorite wrestling channels. I think you answered this in like one of
I answered this question. I don't watch many of them, but two I would recommend are, of course, Vince Russo and OTRS Central. Those would be the ones that I would recommend.
I'd recommend the Bottom Line View. No. What else would be on that list? Because I watch a decent amount. Wrestling with Regret, I enjoy. Who else do I watch when it comes to wrestling? See, it's not that many because I feel like some of them have fallen off and I don't like them as much. Like Daily X-Men was good. I just don't like them anymore. Let's see. Is there any others that I would say are like, Good Mic Work? I think it's pretty good. I can't think of anything else though, honestly. That's like, Kevin Owenick. He doesn't do wrestling videos on his channel. I just saw it there. And finally, favorite channels in general.
I feel like we've answered these questions.
I know we've answered at least that question before. Julian Edelman's YouTube is awesome.
Julian Edelman's is funny.
It's so funny just to watch him like do random shit. Like Drive Prime was so stupidly funny.
The one with him and Amendola as the cops.
Yeah. He's got a lot of talent. I like him.
Okay, what do we got here?
If
you want to see a freaking insane Patriots fan, search up the Bling Dynasty. The guy is freaking nuts.
Are we talking about nuts YouTubers? Let's go with EDP445.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's the greatest rant channel of all time. EDP445. If you like fat black dudes that talk about sports, then you're gonna love EDP.
I know Adam is like, that's his biggest fan because like, oh my God, it's so funny. It's all about the Eagles and him just like, he took this son of a. And you're like, oh, so I can't say it because it's too vulgar.
For movies, Sam's channels, Jeremy, we got Schmoes Knows. I watched so many of them.
Chris Stuckman.
There are some really good videos by some guys. I like watching like the retrospectives on movies too.
Yeah.
Those are usually pretty good by different people. I can't really name them at this moment because they all kind of are the same.
They all do the same kind of content.
What else do we got here? Just going through.
If you obsess over men fighting over a fake fight, you should check out Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez.
That is very true.
Or wait.
Mouth.
Yeah, he put that too.
Oh, Oliver Harper is a really underrated movie guy. Oliver Harper.
Crypto says the Schleg Daddy's how I found us. How he found our channel.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, I comment on some of his videos.
He's really entertaining.
Arian says, "What's your top 5 favorite female wrestlers in 2010s?" I'm assuming he means talent.
Yeah. Okay, so Becky Lynch is up there for me. Shit, this is hard because I know some of them have like their like really bad flaws in them.
Okay, I'll give you my top 2. AJ Lee.
Yes.
And Eve Torres.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Who else is there?
Because like
there's somebody else I'm missing that was like good in the 2010s, but I'm
blanking at the moment because there wasn't like before 2 years ago. There wasn't that much to be said. Caitlyn, wow,
Caitlyn was okay.
At a moment.
But I would put Sasha, Charlotte near that conversation. I think Alexa Bliss and Carmella are both great.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss and Carmella.
I'm gonna rave about Carmella in the live show. She was the most entertaining person on the entire show. Her and Jinder were the best people on the show. I'm not kidding you.
Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer. I don't watch tennis, but I've watched
Federer's the GOAT.
Matches.
Federer's the GOAT.
No bad joke.
If you were to listen to one rapper, who would it be? Eminem.
This is my last question because I have to go after this. If I had to listen to one rapper, I'm not gonna put Drake in the conversation just because he's not a rapper.
Eminem.
I knew you were gonna say Eminem. I would probably say Kendrick. I would say Kendrick. I'm just not the biggest fan of Eminem. Like I understand his importance. I just don't dig his music as much.
Okay, this is the last question.
Okay.
Ash asks us, how much would wrestling change if the Montreal Screwjob never happened?
That's like, how would the world exist if the Big Bang didn't happen? Like, it's just such a broad question. There would be no Mr. McMahon character, so there would be no start of him doing like all the heel promos with Austin. There would be no success of the start of the Attitude Era to get to WrestleMania 14.
There would be no Attitude Era.
I don't think there would be, honestly. There's like so many big like changes. It's like when I did the Kobe Bryant video, like Seattle Supersonics would still
be a what if.
It'd have to be a what if question.
And it would be answered by Kevin Olenek.
I swear to God. No, bro. No, whatever the day is of that pay-per-view, we're doing a 20th year anniversary We the People podcast. Because I want Kevin Olenek on the video just ranting for ages about how this should have never happened to Bret. We're going to special guest Bret Hart on the podcast. Oh, my God. That's the answer to that question. There's so many different answers to it.
All right, guys. I think we should leave.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I got to work. We would keep going on, but part 2. No, okay.
We'll do another one of these soon enough.
Oh, yeah. It was fun, though. We got into a lot of different questions.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us for this first ever Q&A on the Bottom Line View live. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new for some reason and watching a random Q&A, but this is mostly just for the fans, the subscribers, people that we interact with on a daily basis on our reviews and videos. Thank you guys for watching. It's Mitch and Dilly Vanilli. Have a good day. Peace out.
Peace.